In my video a couple of days ago, I talked about Palantir using gold, using potentially Bitcoin in the future to prepare for any sort of market crash. And I said, I don't think they're predicting one. I think they're preparing for one. So naturally, a great thought experiment is how would the stock do? How would the company do if there was a serious market correction, market crash, a prolonged recession, or even a depression? How would Palantir, PLTR do? Well, I think there are a few different ways to look at it. Let's go. Now this does go along with my video, as I said, from a couple of days ago, because I think Palantir is building and laying the groundwork for very strong financials. And what do strong financials mean? Well, if you have tons of money in reserves, if you're holding alternate assets that are not correlated to the strength of the dollar or anything else, Bitcoin far removed if they get into that, gold, which has been an incredible hedge over the long run, the question becomes, what do investors see in the company? Do they see it as a strong one? Do they see they will be just fine weathering out the storm? So currently, at its present stage, if there was a market correction tomorrow, I do believe Palantir PLTR stock would suffer considerably. Palantir moves with the market, it has a fairly high beta, it would not be immune to any sort of market sell-off in any capacity. So in the short term, no, it would not be good for the stock. But what if we had a serious correction, not just a minor one? What would happen? Again, I think Palantir stock would suffer considerably. This is a high growth stock with a lot of growth baked into it. The current market cap is not justified, by my opinion, if there was no growth in the future for this company. Investors have to look past that, look towards the growth in the future, see how can this company benefit in the long run. So that being said, again, I think Palantir stock would suffer considerably if there was a huge market correction. Now that's probably not what you want to be hearing, but I do think that's what would happen. Now what if there was a prolonged recession, a serious depression, or any of the like, a zombie apocalypse, as many people like to say? Now I think it really would come down to how the rest of the economy would shake out. Would businesses go under, small ones of course, maybe medium-sized ones, or even up to big ones? Now this would probably be worst case scenario. Definitely not something you would necessarily ever see happen, but you would probably want to walk through this in your head. How would my investments do if that did happen? Again, it would not be good for the stock market, it would not be good for Palantir, but Palantir's business is predicated upon contracts of the biggest businesses and hand-selected governments around the world. So the question really becomes, if Palantir is financially stable, the employees are there, it still has some of the best talent in the world, it's global, all of that. Is the rest of the market okay? Are governments okay? Or are governments going under? Now this is a little silly, granted, but Palantir really should be just fine, should not go to zero, as long as the big businesses are also okay, and as many would say, if the government is still operational. So I just wanted to make this very short video in saying that Palantir, high growth company, volatile, would not be immune to any sort of market correction, market crash, but I do believe is strong enough, is unique enough, has a unique selling proposition that could adapt to really any sort of economy, any market, any future in the long term. So I do think there is a very low probability that Palantir would go bankrupt or anything like that. So again, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about this? Have you ever thought about this? What is your opinion? Or would you just sell out way before that happens? Until next time.